Where are we right now? Oh.
Hello.
Hello. Hey guys, we are sitting outside of a bus station in the middle of Vinh, Vietnam. We have had an interesting journey, to say the least, via a chartered bus that took us from Vientiane, Laos, across the border into Vietnam, and then dropped us off. Eventually dropped us off here. It wasn't so easy. In fact, there was a lot of things that happened that we weren't really quite expecting, especially when we started the bus tour today.
Well, it was kind of the whole point. I mean, if everything happened as we expected, then so much for the adventure.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, my name's Matt. I'm traveling around the world on a trike, and I'm cycling from China to the USA. Matt here has joined me for a short time. He is, well, what are you? You're not a traveler.
I'm an adventurer, I'll put it that way. I began, I guess you would call it, a traveler, then I guess I graduated to a backpacker, and I don't even like being pigeonholed into that now. I kind of just do my own thing, and I've juggled words in my head. A farer, which kind of lasted maybe a day. Fraser the Farer.
The Farer?
The Farer, you know, basically the wanderer.
The wayfarer, yeah.
I'm fine with adventure, and honestly, it's all semantics anyway, so I'm actually fine with anything, but if you want to be specific, I'll go by adventurer.
Anyways, Matt's been around, but his mode of transportation is a backpack on his back. My mode of transportation is a trike, but we're both solo, and we both have a fairly long history of traveling. I mean, I think more than most. Yeah, there's always somebody that's going to travel longer than you.
Everything's relative.
But the objective on this video today was to talk about what it's like when you travel with, and the benefits of traveling with an open mind. Because if we had a closed mind today, and we were really rigid on like what we wanted to accomplish today and where we wanted to end and what we wanted to do,
or if we had a set time, you know, schedule we had to keep, or if we booked certain things at certain times,
it would have been a total disaster. It would have totally fallen apart.
Yeah, exactly.
We took the bus. First of all, they said it was going to be a 15-hour bus ride, and then it turned out that when we got to the border of Laos and Vietnam,
the ride itself was what, 4?
Yeah, the ride was super short, but we had to stop at the border of Laos and Vietnam, and we ended up. It wasn't camping, it was laying on rocks.
And this goes with the open mind, because neither of us, Matt actually has a whole setup for this scenario. He has the tent, he has you have air mattress, you said?
Yeah.
And he's prepared for what happened last night.
But I couldn't even get it.
Because we had no idea that what was gonna happen happened.
Yeah. But you know what?
What happened was gonna happen.
We made the best of it, you know? And the fact that basically you can't always expect everything to go your way. I guess when people start traveling, they expect certain things to happen. It's just like when people end up overpacking, right? They start their tour and they have too much shit.
I can tell my whole story when I first started compared to now, how I go back and look at my old posts, whether it be on Instagram or just old photos I have, and inside my head I laugh at myself. I'm like, what in the hell was I thinking? So as you go, you just kind of learn to roll with the punches.
Yeah. Well, you start being prepared for everything. Afraid.
Because you don't know. You have no frame of reference.
Yeah. But as you start traveling and learning more, you find out that, I mean, jokingly, we say that the most important thing that you have on you is your passport, your phone, and your wallet. Really, and beyond that, you figure it out. You know, you keep that open mind, and you'll figure it out along the way. We ended up almost getting stranded about 15 kilometers outside of town. They were going to drop us off and just figure it out, guys. The bus drivers were real assholes, and I don't know how that ties in with having an open mind. I feel like this is trailing
This is just like improv right now, to be honest with you. I guess this is improv.
Okay. Conversation with Matt.
Let's be completely honest.
Yeah.
And we'll maybe lead up to here right now, but right now we are sitting at what looks like a pretty much abandoned bus station.
There's nobody here except these two guys.
But it looks like it's probably the cleanest and newest building in this whole area.
Yeah.
So it's either really new or they made it by a mistake and they realized
we overbuilt this thing.
Yeah. So we have a couple hours to kill before our next ride gets here, and we figured let's just open up the camera and
start shooting the
talking
shit.
some stuff and see what happens.
Yeah.
So this is complete improv.
Yeah, totally.
We came into it thinking we were gonna like talk about something, but we kind of blew that in the first minute.
Yeah.
So we're kind of just rambling and just basically killing about an hour. So that's what we're doing right now. So if you want, okay, you didn't. I thought you were gonna go into explaining what happened last night, and you skipped straight to being abandoned, being stranded.
Well, explain to what happened last night.
Okay, we think we're going to have a 15-hour bus ride, because that's what
of all riding. Like,
yeah.
Like riding
with maybe
the bus.
a couple stops, you know, here for bathroom breaks and food breaks, but for the most part, we expect about 12 of those 15 hours to be actually driving. And then about halfway through, I fell asleep and I think I woke up and Matt says, we're halfway there. And I'm like, oh, I wasn't asleep that long.
According to the map on my phone, and the A to B, like we were almost like halfway to B.
And I pulled up my phone and I'm like, holy shit, we are.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, now I started thinking, that's great, but at the same time, we're gonna get stranded in Vinh at 2 in the morning in order to go.
Yeah.
So this is what I thought going into it. And then I think I fell asleep again. And the next thing I wake up after at the border. And it's, what time of day was it? Like midnight, 1? It was like midnight.
About midnight 1, yeah.
And then we realized, okay, the border is closed. So this is what they mean by 15 hours.
Yeah.
It means about 7 of those hours are gonna be
sleeping outside around the bus, or trying to sleep inside the bus where there's like 35 people mouth breathing. And
right now, Matt and I were in the back, where all the cool kids sit. All the cool kids sit in the back of the bus. And it was actually the best seats in the house during the actual drive.
But as soon as those the AC turns off.
As the AC turns off, like
hot box.
There's no windows to open. It's only the front door. So by the time the air gets back to us, there is no more air left. So as soon as the engine goes off, I felt my body completely screaming to get the hell out.
Yeah.
So I said, this ain't working, I'm getting the hell out of here. So I climb over people and I get out to the front and I look around and there's no cots or just
oh no,
street.
It's just a checkpoint.
And I said, you know what, I'm just gonna pop some Xanax and I'm gonna have some melatonin pills and see what I can do. And
Matt slept on a pile of rocks.
But I did have a blanket.
A pile of rocks. He had my blanket.
And you know what?
He stole my blanket and he slept on it on a pile of rocks.
But I will say this, I slept from about 1:30 to 6 straight. Not a single wake up, nothing. It was probably the most peaceful sleep since I left America. It was a good sleep.
Mine was not so comfortable. I tried to sleep on the street, like the actual road, but it was so cold. It was sucking the heat. I needed like some layer. I didn't even ask that.
Well, when I went into the bus, like at 6 to get my stuff, Matt was sleeping in there.
Yeah. It was too hot. It was too cold to sleep outside, so I had
a blanket and I had my.
You were set up.
Yeah.
If I could have gotten my bag, then it would have been perfect. I would have had my sleeping bag and my sleeping mat. And a pillow, would have been tight.
Okay, and then we ended up getting through, which was, I mean, it was for the most part.
The checkpoint itself.
It wasn't effortless.
Border crossing.
It went smooth as it could. I wouldn't say it was effortless because there was a little bit of chaos, I should say. But for the most part, it was no stress. And then the stress started when we got
here.
Yes, when we
got around this area.
Yeah. You can explain that part.
Well, I mean, one of the tips here is that Matt got his visa into his passport before we even started the bus tour, which was very helpful.
Yeah,
very helpful. Otherwise, you had to get a letter from Vietnam to say that you can get this visa. This guy's looking at this.
Yeah, okay.
I wonder if he's our ride. I don't. That's way too early.
And he would come in here.
Yeah. Anyways, we were riding, and I have, you know, technology is amazing. Nobody can pull a fast one when you've got the Google Maps on your phone.
Yep.
You know, you're like, we should have turned back there, or you know, we've got another 5 kilometers to go.
No, it was before that. When
yeah, for sure. But we stopped at a restaurant, like way on the outskirts of town, like right at the border of Vinh, and we eat food, and I'm sitting there, and Matt's getting his first pho and shit, and I'm thinking, and I'm like, I bet they're gonna try and drop us off here, because the guy had been like, this is Vinh, like, this is where you guys wanted to go.
Right, this
is where we're at.
End of the stop.
I mean, we weren't at a bus stop. This was just like a roadside restaurant.
This wasn't like an area where there was a lot of restaurants. It was hustling, bustling. No, this was literally the side of the road.
Worst place to get dropped off. Not even taxis.
Yeah, there was no. Yeah, there was
no rides.
No cars driving by for us to wave down.
So we eat our food and we collect around the bus, and then he starts. I saw him unlocking the doors to the undercarriage of the bus, and he's like, Vin, get the hell out. I mean, not joking, like it was like, get the hell out, like it was like,
yeah, it was you're done. We obviously didn't know what he was saying, but we can tell just by
the intonation.
Yeah, his voice and the way he was moving around.
Go, this is it, Vin. And you who's here for Vin? 1, 2, 3. He's like, all right, get your stuff, get the fuck out of here.
And by the way, this is not all in English.
Yeah, this is hand language and and Vietnamese.
Or big time language barrier there.
And so luckily we were about 7 of us that were supposed to come to Vinh, and so collectively we're like, you're not gonna fucking drop us off here. There's no way you're gonna leave us here. And he started yelling. He did not want to move us any farther into Vinh than he had to. Because, side note, this bus is on its way right now to Hanoi. So there's a whole group of travelers that are stuck in that freaking bus with an angry crew. But anyways, he pushes us farther forward. We get, okay, whatever, get on the bus. And he didn't even say get on the bus. He just, okay, I lost this round, right?
Yeah,
it's like I lost this round.
That's exactly how it felt. Like,
get back on the bus.
Yes, that round was won by us, and he accepted defeat for that round. But he still wanted to win the match.
He still wanted to win the match. So we got in the bus. We drove 5 kilometers up the road, and then he stops again, and he's like, "Get out."
It was even worse.
Yeah, it was worse. He's like, "Strike number 2. You're getting the hell out of here." And so we all were like, we didn't even get off the bus.
This one, the elderly couple, they were like, oh hell no.
Oh hell no.
Yeah, we had this great, they were from France, right?
Yeah.
Great, probably in their 60s, retirees.
Really nice.
Super nice, and they kind of stood up for.
I mean, the second time we stopped, it wasn't even outside of a restaurant. We were like on the side of the road.
The road. There was nowhere. Yeah, there was nowhere.
On the side of the road.
We would have literally had to been hitchhiking at that point. That would have
for sure. So finally we're like, no. And he's like, he was putting his foot down. He's like, no. He starts yelling. Bus station. No, we can't go to the bus. He translates on his phone that this bus is not allowed to go to the bus station. It's a bus. There's a bus station. They kind of go together.
It was, I guess, trying to say the size of the bus was too big.
Yeah.
Which was ridiculous because it's the same size as every other bus.
It's a bus. it's a bus-sized bus. Anyways, they put us in and they drove us up. And even then, because I had my phone plotted for the main central bus station in Vinh, so I was expecting us to go there, and we drive, and all of a sudden we pass the road that we should have turned off, and I'm like, oh God. Matt's like, I bet they're taking us to Hanoi. They're just giving it up. They're like, you find your own way back down here. Hanoi, by the way, is like 500 kilometers north of here. It's crazy.
Basically, this is like the halfway point.
Yeah. So then, yeah, those guys got a long ride. Brutal.
At least they have a little more room now that 7 people are gone.
Yeah. Probably picked up a bunch of locals and shoved them in their place. So anyways, they drop us off here, the empty bus station that looks like it's out of like some apocalyptic movie. Like we're the last people on Earth.
Which actually is good because...
Yeah, we got the best service.
And then I'll take over from here because we said, okay, we'll take it. This is kind of like a negotiation spot. This was pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
Because we realized the actual bus station isn't for, what, another couple more kilometers?
Yeah, 5.
So we saw this area, we saw a gas station, we saw this big glass building, and we're like, okay, we compromise, this is it. So Matt's getting all of his tiger duck stuff out. And so I walk in here, and I don't know what to expect, because there's one car, there's not a single person.
Yeah.
But the doors are open, so I'm like, well, let's go in the doors. And I had the Google Translate that said 2 tickets to Dong Hoi.
That's it.
I walked up and I asked the lady in there if she knows English, and she was just, hold on, she's gonna get some. I just showed her the app, and she goes, yeah, and she goes, do it. I said, do it. And like, that simple as that. Done.
The way it should be.
So like, literally all that yelling and screaming, arguing, and I go here, and it was the most peaceful, yeah no problem, I got you. So now here we are now.
I think that like, when you're a traveler, you can't hold on to anger either.
Oh,
you know,
of course.
like
I wasn't angry during all that, by the way.
Frustrated or
I was frustrated. But I was not.
Yeah.
But the only thing I was even worried, if that's even the word you want to use, is him saying, "All right, guys, you want to play that game?" and taking us all the way to Hanoi. That's the only thing I was worried about.
I had a nightmare glimpse of him opening the door, pushing my trike out, closing the door, and being like, "Fine. Fine, when we get to the location, where's my trike?" I don't know, fell out somewhere.
so this is not his, but this is my first time in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And my initial reaction is not good. Yeah. Until now I'm here, and this lady in here, and this whole experience here, much better. That's completely made up for those, I don't know, whatever you want to call them.
Don't let your first impression spoil spoil the entire entirety of the place that you're at. So. Because there's many people.
I don't even know if those were Vietnamese people. They might have been Lao.
Lao, yeah. So how's your first impression of that?
Well, so far, again,
it's a mixed bag.
It's only been 2 hours, so it's about 50-50 right now.
All right.
So anything else?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Now we're waiting for
the ride to
the last. No, not even the last. The second to last stretch.
Well, what's the last stretch is
going to the little village that we actually need to get.
Oh. But this is the last stretch before our adventure begins.
Yes.
Before the adventure begins.
Yeah, this is the last.
This is part of the adventure too, right? It's all part.
Yeah. No, it's in there.
Journey is the destination.
Yeah.
Take it easy, guys.
You can edit some good stuff in there.